I know we talk about the weather a lot, but it's an applicable conversation to have right now in that the West Coast is burning to the likes of which has not been seen in 1,000 years.
It is, well, right over our head, it is blue skies.
And I know you think I'm kidding when I say that. This is the highest recorded heat wave in 1,000 years.
Is that true?
Yes.
Oh
like, I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm not just putting Kevinisms on this. It is saying it is the hottest summer on record to this point in 1,000 years. They're calling it a heat dome over the Pacific Northwest.
So this is what I always wonder when we start out with weather-related things. I always wonder, you know, like people tune into the weather every day, whether like on the radio or on the TV, right? But do they want to tune in once a week to listen to us whine about it?
Yeah, because the news is just giving you the facts about the weather. We're going to give you the bitchiness about the weather.
Well, there you go.
Let me just give you some numbers, okay? For those who are in climates that are reasonable right now, though, if I look at the map, I don't think anybody's in a reasonable climate
pretty
right
hot
now.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Here are all-time records in cities across the West Coast. Medford, Oregon, 115 degrees. Yakima, Washington, 110 degrees. Spokane, Washington, 108 degrees. Portland, Oregon, 107 degrees. Seattle, Washington, 103 degrees. 200 people have died of this heat wave in Oregon. 500 people have died in British Columbia. Almost 100 people have died in Washington. Now, why are we talking about the Pacific Northwest? Well, A, we're from there originally. But B, do you know what people don't have in the Pacific Northwest?
Air conditioning.
Air conditioning.
But we are also, Northern Nevada is often
Hold on, don't give me Northern Nevada yet.
Okay.
Nobody in the Pacific Northwest has air conditioning because it's not meant to be that hot at all. I remember I spent a week in Seattle at one point, and it was topping out at 100 degrees, and I thought I was going to die in this very palatial apartment. And then I drove down to Portland, and it was nicer, but it was still 95 degrees, and I was staying in an Airbnb in a converted attic.
Oh, no.
And that was bad. These temperatures are dwarfing what I've endured.
Dwarfing?
Do you want some more? Yeah, dwarfing.
Sure, go.
When I said dwarfing, what did you think? Like Steven dwarfing?
I kind of thought of Steve. Yeah, I saw him in a movie this weekend. Weird guy.
What was the movie?
Wrong Turn. Something about him fighting his son, like boxing, like not boxing, cage fighting.
Oh.
With his son.
Wow, that sounds very Steven Dorffy.
It was, and it was like you just hated him in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
that
is
makes
very,
sense.
Yeah,
I've seen enough Steven Dorff movies to know that I would hate him. Here are more records. Vegas, 117 degrees with the potential of that being toppled. In Reno, Nevada, we set records of 102 degrees 2 weeks ago. We set another record the other day of 105 degrees. Here's the number that's going to blow people's mind. It was reported over 100 years ago that it reached 134 degrees in Death Valley, July 10th, 1913. Now, if you're a weather professional like me, which I'm not, you'll know that that's a highly disputed record because of the way they kept temperature back then. Right. So that's very, very, very contested. And then there's somebody else that says actually the hottest temperature on record is over in Libya. Again, can't trust the Libyans when it comes to temperature. That's the only thing I'm saying you can't trust the Libyans with.
Everything else you can.
What they're saying is now is if those records are disputed, we have the opportunity this week for the world, the globe, the planet in which we inhabit to see the hottest temperature ever of 130 degrees in Death Valley.
I mean, aren't you glad you're not there?
I feel like I already live in hell.
It is really uncomfortable.
It's unbelievably uncomfortable.
This is like, because we are also at a higher altitude.
Yep.
So when you walk out, you feel the furnace heat.
Oh, yeah.
But then it's like prickling on your skin.
Yep.
So, and then you're immediately sweating. We don't have any humidity to speak of.
Nope.
But the humidity might actually, I don't know, would we be able to breathe? I don't know.
I will tell you this. The thing that everybody's listening to and being like, Kevin, you're right. This weather sucks. Do you know what pretty much the rest of the country doesn't also have to endure during this?
Fires.
So again, preparing for this segment, I looked up current active fires in California. It looks like California has the chicken pox or has the worst acne that like Dr. Pimple Popper couldn't even fix. There are so many active fires. As we are recording this podcast, there is a fire, I don't know, 5 miles away from here.
If even that far, we can see it. Yeah.
Pluming smoke into our little valley. There's a fire 2 hours north of here. I looked at it, I don't know, 2 days ago, 55,000 acres. There's another fire over in Northern California that's, I think, reached 100,000 acres. It's not bad enough that I can't breathe when I go outside because of the heat. Now I can't breathe because the actual air is contaminated.
Oh, no, for sure. So there was, when I was a little girl, one of my favorite shows was The Twilight Zone.
Oh, fun.
And, you know, there were a lot of futuristic weird things.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but, you know, there are only a handful of segments. They're like half-hour shows, I think. I don't even think they were an hour. But that I really remember that stuck with me. One was the guy climbing out on the airplane wing.
Of course.
You know, everybody remembers that.
I think they took that episode and added it to the movie, right?
Oh, yeah, I think so. This one was like, I don't know, in Brooklyn or the Bronx. And it was like kind of the end of the world and the sun was getting closer.
Okay.
And there was so much heat and people were trying to escape the city and they knew they were going to die from heat. Do you know what I mean? Just like heat. And I remember thinking at the time, would you rather die from cold or would you rather die from heat? And I mean, I'm telling you, it looked pretty darn miserable. People were trying to find water and ice. And of course, at that time, air conditioning was hardly anywhere. I mean, it would have been in the 50s that show was made, right? Yep. And I mean, it just like people say, no, go without me. You know, you go try to escape. And it was horrible. That's how I feel right now.
Yeah, you're about to enter another dimension, dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind, a journey into a wondrous land of imagination. Next stop, hell on earth, because it's so freaking hot.
I know.
The Twilight Zone.
By the way, I love to be here. Is it too early to say that?
If you guys aren't watching this on YouTube, Deb has been pounding water this entire time. You might have heard her just drink it, and she's been fanning herself. We are in the studio, and I swear to Christ.
Don't say Christ.
I'm swearing to him so he knows and that it can back me up. It's 80 degrees in here. It's 80 degrees in here. It's miserable. I have a sheen on my face.
Glow, for sure.
You told me, you're like, Kevin, I'm wearing my hair like this because the back of my neck is going to get so sweaty before this is over and done. I would love to think that we're going to do a full blown like hour 15 podcast. If we get to an hour, that is success.
Without one of us passing out.
These lights that are on me, this isn't like, I know that we goof a lot. We don't actually get paid to do this. We're not in a real studio that pays us hundreds of thousands of dollars. These small lights that are on me,
I know they emit,
are killing me.
I know. I'm
crushing my soul.
I'm with you.
It's so bad. I keep looking at everything and I'm thinking like, where can I shave a minute off here? Where can I shave a minute off here? Because it's so bad.
It's bad. No, it's bad.
My ankles are sweating.
Oh, well, my ankles are sweating and swelling.
Yeah,
so,
you're wearing that, like, I know that's like a light fabric shirt that you're wearing.
It's really loose. It feels good, but I'm going to put cotton on right after this.
I'm wearing, I mean, it's tank top time. Clearly, it's tank top time.
I mean, if I could put my pajamas on, I would do that.
It says good vibes on my tank top. It's the opposite of that. It's very, very bad vibes in here. But we're going to push through.
We're going to do it because we're professionals.
And the next time Spotify comes to us and they want to negotiate our contract, we're going to say it's a firm need that we have air conditioning.
Exactly. Put it in the room.
And an actual studio.
I agree.
Let's start the podcast.
Welcome to the Deb and Kev podcast. One is a Harvard Business School alum. The other is her son. Discussing business, pop culture, family, and everything in between. Now, here are your hosts, Deb and Kev.
Hey, hi, hello, and welcome to the Deb and Kev podcast. The woman who puts the Deb in debatable. It's my mom, Deb.
I like that. I'm Deb.
And I put the Kev in Golkovechi, which is a city in Russia. I'm her son, Kev, and this is our podcast. On today's show, in our business segment today, it's not good enough to just be a leader. Deb is going to talk to us about how you can become a trusted leader. We have brand new questions for the debate queen in Dear Debbie. And we will smack it up, flip it, rub it down, and end with what's for dinner and what we are thankful for. But first, we do bitch and moan about the current temperature in Northern Nevada.
For sure.
One of the great things about living in Northern Nevada is that there are really no bugs that exist here.
It is not a buggy place.
Like, people who pretty much live anywhere else in the United States deal with some type of bug that is like invasive and awful and gross. Cockroaches are ubiquitous everywhere. They do not exist here. Mosquitoes, those exist here, but not to the length that they exist other places. Yeah. For instance, I lived in New Orleans. That's the swamp. That's below sea level. Do you know what else lives in New Orleans? Every bug imaginable. So it's not only that they have cockroaches, they have cockroaches that fly in New Orleans. It's not only that they have mosquitoes, they have a gajillion. That's a real number. I looked it up. A gajillion mosquitoes. And I think the thing that some people think is, well, you know, in the South, I'll bet those mosquitoes are huge. That's not the case. They're so little. They're babies. And that's what makes it worse. If I can see them, I can kill them, but I can never see them. They have termite swarms in New Orleans.
Oh, no.
It's awful. The things we have here are like the occasional spider that you'll see.
Huge spider the other morning into the sink next to me upstairs.
Right. And you usually see it and you kill it and it's totally fine. We have roly-polies. We have ants. We have box elder bugs that are just more of a nuisance more than anything
flies,
else.
Bumblebees.
But here's one of the downfalls of not having a lot of bugs. You don't really build up a tolerance to them. You don't build up an immunity to them.
No.
So when you interact with them, it's almost worse.
It's catastrophic for us.
It's catastrophic for us. I have a blood type that bugs adore. They love me. They belly up to my blood and they get drunk on it and they love it. And the worst part is when a mosquito bites me, when a bee stings me, I explode. I have full-blown hives when it's over. Like I look like something out of a movie. Fast forward to this last Thursday. Rewind to this last Thursday. I'm sitting right here in this chair because this studio also doubles as my office.
Yeah.
I feel this like little, a pinch is too strong, but like I feel something on my arm, right? And I look and I
like a crawl, like a move.
No, like a little prick, like a little pin prick,
but not painful.
No,
okay,
but enough to where I notice it, right?
Yeah.
And I look down and there's nothing there. Minute later, I feel it again, and I think that's so weird. Look down, nothing there. I feel a third one, and I finally just kind of like smack at it.
Right.
And I come back with what I assume is a mosquito, like a kind of a dead, rolled up mosquito. And there's no blood at all, of which there can be seen. So you felt
like it didn't get you.
Right. I guess I responded fast enough to where it maybe stuck its nose. What is it? Needle nose?
Needle nose, yep.
In
Let's
me,
call it that.
But didn't do anything. Look at my arm.
Oh, no, Kev.
It looks like Dracula himself came down and mistook my arm for my neck.
I've got oregano oil, and if we roll some on there, it'll be gone tomorrow.
This has been days.
Yeah, because you didn't put oregano oil
in it. It has been oozing.
Yeah, oregano oil. Are you sure it was a mosquito?
The thing in my hand was an insect.
Okay, but it
I
could have
can't imagine what else it would have been
I
here.
mean, I don't know, some mosquito carrying typhoid or what's the new mosquito thing?
I don't know.
Like Nile
Super
River,
mosquito?
is that old? I mean, I don't know.
And here's the thing. Usually a mosquito bite is 24 hours for me. We are on day, I don't know,
Yeah.
17.
I'm sure it's the beginning of something bad.
It's so bad. It's puffy. It's warm. I tried to we have a little food plunger that you will feed to the dog, right? There's it looks like a syringe, but there's no needle on the end of it.
Yeah.
I tried to put that on top of it and suck it out.
Yeah, that
didn't do anything.
Yeah.
I put
honey, it's in your bloodstream.
Tea tree oil on it.
Pulsing throughout your body.
You want to know another fun story about bugs and my bloodstream?
Okay.
I was living in Los Angeles. You remember this story?
Is this the brown spiders?
Yes, I was living in Los Angeles. I was in LA for, I don't know, maybe 6 weeks, tops, the most, maybe 6 weeks. And I wake up one morning, and on the inside of my right arm, which these Dracula bites are on the outside of my right arm, on the inside of my right arm, I have a little itching sensation. And I'm like, oh, something must have bit me. Not uncommon. Get bites, no big deal. I see it start to swell up a little bit, and I notice there's 2 distinct holes. So I'm thinking, oh, I got bit by a spider. They were distinct. I've never.
That's what you thought. You didn't think a mosquito got me twice.
No, because it just felt perfect for little spider fangs, right?
Well, what if the giant spider right now got away from your arm, but you just killed a different bug?
These things are so far apart that if it was a spider, it's as big as my head.
Okay.
So I look at the spider bite and I think okay, no big deal. I put some hydrocortisone cream on it. I probably put some tea tree oil on it. And I stopped paying attention to it because nobody's really looking at the inside of their arm, right? That's not a thing. I would say 2 or 3 days go by. I'm at work. It's towards the end of my shift. I just did a midday. I'm in the back room talking to some other managers, and I do what I always do, which is when you're tall, you use the door frame to kind of hang on, right? I'm hanging from the door frame, just chatting, and one of my co-managers says, "What's up with your arm?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" And I look, and not only is the red mark still there, there's a faint red line traveling up my arm to my armpit. And I go, well, I was bit by something. I think it was a spider. And it doesn't itch or hurt. And the guy's looking at me, and he's a little older. He goes, "It looks like it's traveling up your lymph system." Now, I don't know what my lymph system is, but I know that poison, in theory, traveling anywhere in your body is not great. He goes, "We have brown recluse spiders here, right?" As if I have any idea what a brown recluse spider is. I said, yeah, totally. What are those? He goes, "Well, you know how black widows are poisonous?" I do. He's like, "Those are more poisonous." He said, "I would go to the ER if I were you." And I'm like, ER, hospital, 6 weeks in LA. Do I have money? And I'm pretty sure I call you and I'm like, I was told that this bite on my arm could be traveling up my lymph system and kill me. What should I do? And you're like, maybe go to the hospital.
Did you go to urgent care or the hospital?
Urgent care.
Yeah.
So I go to urgent care, and it's me and just a bunch of societal degenerates, right? Nobody cares about my spider bite. This guy's bleeding out of every orifice. This woman just got done with a 30-day bender. I don't know where I am. They finally call my name after an hour, and I get this doctor who looks like he's straight out of Central Casting of the eccentric, crazy haired, glasses, over the top personality, where I literally think, because I'm in LA, is this guy trying a bit out on me? It's so heavy handed. And he says, "Okay, let me look at your spider bite," right? And he kind of says it mockingly. I was like, "Well, yeah, I think that's what it is." And he goes, "Here's what's weird. If it was indeed a brown recluse that bit you, in 3 or 4 days, you would start to see some necrotic damage, meaning your arm should start dying." He said, "But that's not the case." He said, "What is happening, though, is there is some toxin from whatever bit you. And that toxin is, in fact, traveling up your lymph system, and your lymph system is going to go to your heart. And I don't know if you know this, but when poison reaches your heart, that's a bad thing." And I said, am I going to die from this? And he goes, no, but you're really not going to like the cure for it. And I said, what's that? And he rummages in this desk and he brings out the thickest needle I have ever seen.
He didn't rummage in his desk.
He went wherever he went to go find this needle that's the size and circumference of this pen. He's like, this is what we have to do to treat it. And all I can think of in my head is, this is going to be so expensive.
Then this is the guy that can't look at any needles, even little skinny needles.
And I said, where's this going to go? He's like, well, fortunately, it's going to go in your butt. And I said, good, because I can't look at this. And he said, and then you have to stay here for 30 minutes just so we make sure that nothing bad happens to you. I was like, what do you mean bad happens? Like, well, some people pass out. Some people, respond in an adverse way. And I'm just thinking like, is this... Like, I've been here for 6 weeks. Don't I have some grace period in this city? Like, it's hard enough living in LA, just living in LA. Now I have spiders biting me and weird doctors and needles the size of pens that are going to go into me. He did, I don't remember. I remember he did something weird. Like he tried to do like a goof, like, huh! Like as he was going to stab me, he's like, oh, I missed. Or he did something like that,
right.
Which did not make me feel good at all.
Right.
Again, I think he was trying out a set on me. He stabbed me with a pen where I felt everything of it because again, this thing is like a switchblade going into my butt. And he goes, okay, now seriously, you can't leave for like 25 to 30 minutes because if something bad happens, there's not going to be anybody to help you. So I sit there back out again with, the street urchin people. Nothing bad happens. And eventually that stops traveling up my lymph system and I'm healed. But that is clearly an indicator that there is something wrong as it relates to me and bugs. And I'm staring at this Dracula bite thinking, I'm sure nothing bad's going to happen. But I say that. And in 3 days, when we're not recording the podcast because I'm in the hospital because my entire arm has gone necrotic.
Yeah. Because I don't know what to do with the podcast. I do want to say that is a great story.
Thank you.
You need to wipe your upper lip because you're sweating.
I know, but you can't really tell on the film, but
Okay.
It is so uncomfortable in here. It is so unbelievably uncomfortable in here.
So here's
here's the thing. I don't sweat.
I know, really, truly. So here's some good news.
About what?
So we might have had some friends, fans, clients, people from Alaska, Colorado, and Arizona all mention that when they were listening to you give me the citizenship test.
Oh, okay. Totally different topic. We're not even talking about what I was just talking about.
I just want to segue from it.
There you go. Just drop the segue knowledge on me.
And they said they were literally screaming in the radio to the answers to me because when I said, someone is yelling. In fact, that is exactly what happened.
I was yelling at you.
Apparently the whole world knew the answer to the questions except for me.
Yeah, I think we knew you weren't in your wheelhouse when I asked one of the freedoms that was given to you.
Right. Oh
and
my God.
Speech just didn't resonate.
Yeah, I know.
Instead, you went with an emotion. I think that's when we all knew that Deb might be out of her depth here.
I think we all have the right to be happy.
Because there was people that DM'd us on Instagram saying, I got the questions right. Can I have her citizenship, please?
There you go.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So that's just my brush with death as it relates to the most innocuous things that are meant to only serve as food to other living things. Those are slowly killing me.
I talked to somebody this weekend that moved from, I think, the Philadelphia area 5 years ago down to, is it called Beaufort, South Carolina?
Sure.
Okay, so I said, do you like it? Love it. Love the size of the town. They've got a boat. And I said, hot? Like humid hot? She goes, hot like anywhere that's hot. She said, in the summertime, we go from the car to the house to the boat on the water. That kind of thing. And so then I go, bugs. And she goes,
bugs, baby.
Bugs.
Bugs are bad.
She goes, the little no-see-ums. I go, just talk to me about biting bugs. And the list went
Everywhere.
on and on and on and on. Like,
It's
how
bad.
do people do that?
I'll tell you this. Knowing that bugs like me and living somewhere where bugs are the most notorious thing outside of like drinking, you couldn't sit outside. It was impossible to be outside. Like if you weren't in water or you weren't actively moving, there was no reason for me to sit outside. It was just asking them to defile my body.
Well, I do think we did tell the story, but I will just mention a little bit. When I went to visit you in New Orleans, and it was pouring down rain. I mean, pouring down rain like more than a shower in a shower. And you said to me, Mom, sometimes when it rains like this, the tree roaches will try to come inside.
Yep.
And sure enough, 2 came in the kitchen. I almost lost my mind.
It's bad.
I swear they were like 3 inches long. And if you would step on them, it would feel like really killing a true living creature.
Yeah. And I was happy to do that.
But you would vacuum them up.
That's true. Because in no way did I want to get close enough for them to get on me.
I know. Ugh. I just couldn't do it, Kev.
You know what you can do though, Deb?
What?
You can talk to the audience about being a trusted leader. You see how I did that right there?
That was really good.
Thank you.
My segues aren't very good.
Yeah, because you have in your head, you're like, Kevin, are you done talking? This is you in your head. Kevin's done talking. Kevin's done talking. Now I'm going to add this piece in. Speaking of words.
I'm not in charge of anything here.
Nope.
But every once in a while, I think I should just, in my normal life, I have such great control of so many things.
You know what that's a symptom of?
What?
ADHD.
Is it?
Hard pivots in conversations? Yeah, 1,000%. You know how I know that?
Because you have it?
Thank you.
Okay.
Speaking of the Golden Gate Bridge, Deb, let's talk a little bit about travel.
Oh, okay. Do you want to talk about travel?
No, that was just an example of ADHD.
So
I want to talk about trusted leadership. And Deb, if you want to make this fast, I ain't going to be mad at you.
Okay. We'll go through it quick. I mean, nobody can even hear the snap. My
hands are so wet
like, look,
right now.
Nothing's happening. No noise. That's crazy. So one of the things that I have been talking to people a lot about this lately, especially when they have new people, new hires.
Yep.
And one of the things I think that we sometimes forget to do, though some companies do it so well, is that we forget, like, this is somebody new. It's like somebody we've invited to live with us at least 40 hours a week. And I think we forget to bring them in, like really bring them into the fold, right? And so during the interview process, we've said like, hey, we're this and we're that and we're this. I mean, just like dating, we're like so cool.
There's some great tweets and memes about what all that stuff means. Like fast-paced environment means you're doing 3 to 5 jobs.
Exactly. And then a fast-paced environment means they're not going to train you. They're just going to throw you in the deep end.
Yeah, we have a great culture here, which means once every 6 months we do a pizza party it's a mandatory attendance.
So then people get in there and go like, oh, what's going on? So one of the things that I think, and we're talking about developing trust and leadership, is to really be who you say you are.
Sure.
I mean, and I know we say stuff like that all the time when we're talking about business. And when you're talking about personal, I think this is one of these personal/business. It works both ways. Don't say you're patient. Don't say you like to think outside the box. Don't say that we're creative, and don't say there's space for you to be you if that stuff isn't true.
Sure.
I mean, I told somebody a couple of weeks ago, I'm not going to lie, we're in a little bit of a mess. It was somebody I was help hiring. Well, we were kind of in a big mess. I didn't want to say a giant mess, but I gave a pretty good descriptor. I tried to be funny and light about it, but I knew that they weren't going to walk in thinking everything was going to be hunky-dory.
The new person?
Yeah.
Sure.
And I mean, this is what I said. This is what we kind of need you to be right away. And we hired for that. I mean, we thought we found the right person for that, but be who you are. I mean, really be your words and the walk and the talk.
But isn't that kind of a bigger conversation of like people believe themselves to be something? People believe the workplace to be an environment that's this, and really it's that. Because I think if you asked the majority of business owners, if you did a Family Feud thing and you polled 100 people about their business, they would say like, no, our place is a fun business to work at. We have a good time. And then you would immediately take the camera and snap it over to the employees and you'd see the biggest, longest eye rolls in the world, right?
Yeah.
So like in order to even put that out there, you have to have a firm understanding of what you actually are.
So this is interesting because, well, I mean, I'll tell this. There's a class I'm giving in the fall, and it's all about, I mean, it's really a solicitation of the employees to what they would like to change in themselves, their office, their managers or bosses and their own jobs.
Oh, wow.
So
I don't see that going bad at all.
Oh, no, that's going to be well, for me, it's going to be great.
Of course.
It'll be super fun. So one of the other things, you know how you'll go into businesses, they have a mission statement or a vision statement or core values or whatever all that stuff is. And some of that stuff, let's be honest, is written to put on a website to sound really amazing.
Which is probably stolen from somebody else's website.
Which is probably stolen from somebody else's. But if we are going to put those things out there, could we at least be those things?
Sure.
If we're going to say we have integrity, that we do the right thing, that we err on the right side, that we care about our clients, that we'll go the extra mile, that we treat our employees, there's kind of space for grace when things go wrong, right? Then let's do those things, okay? So I call this a say-do gap, meaning, and you and I have talked about this, I say I'm going to do it and I don't, right? There's sometimes that happens, especially for employees. And I think we've mentioned this before, just because they are overwhelmed and overworked. And every employee gets to say, I know you want me to do this, but where would you like me to prioritize it? I mean, that's really the question. But I also think we need to understand that when we're exceptionally busy, our say-do thing, that there can be a gap, and that in itself needs to be a conversation led by the leaders. I mean, saying like, I think we're all dropping balls a little bit. Let's have a day of amnesty. Let's talk about it, right? No one's going to get in trouble, but is our say and is our do, are we completely off schedule? So in the trust arena, I think the other thing that you have to do, and I think good managers and good business owners can actually do this, where they create a scenario for somebody else to shine. I mean, you can almost set it up. It's something you know somebody can do. You know that they can do it well. You give them the parameters. They're very clear. They walk into it, they do it, and then we make a big deal about it. I mean, everybody needs that. And if it's not happening automatically, then help create it. I'm not saying take bad people. I'm saying take people that you know are good people and give them the opportunity, but that helps build trust. It also, there are some things that we are just going to get wrong, or we are not going to understand, or we are going to misunderstand, or somebody thinks they said it, but they didn't say all of it, right? So it's okay for people to fail. And if people know that they can fail in front of you and the whole world doesn't come to a screeching halt, then, I mean, that's how we move forward really quick and to get the other things done. The last two things that I think are really big, and we've talked before about, but these are real trust builders. I think one of them is to setting boundaries and be clear on them. So people know, we all have things, you and I talk about it all the time. There are things that people do that just slide off my back. I don't even care. They bug the heck out of you and vice versa, right? We owe it to know those things about ourselves. And then we owe it to set the boundaries so that we are behaving in a consistent manner. That builds trust, because, people know if I go there, I might get a little reaction. But if I go here, I know I never will.
Sure.
And then I think the other thing is, I think we have to really invite dissent to some degree. People need to be able to say, this isn't working. I know you think it's working, but let me tell you why it's not. Because there's so many people that work for us that know their job better than we know their job,
For
right?
sure.
And when they come to us and they say, I know you think this, I know you preach this, but it's not working here. I think that is one of the biggest gifts you can give. And I think it also is one of the biggest foundations of trust, meaning when someone says, I have an open door and you can really speak your mind. I mean, I think 90% of American employees would say, nah, that's not true. But if it were true, how amazing it would be. It doesn't mean they're always going to get their way, but it means that you can be heard and that there isn't going to be any, I'll say, punishable, activity around it. So I think that the consciously thinking about taking somebody under your wing with trust in mind to build a better team is something that most business owners and managers should think about.
So kind of what I hear is you need to hire the personality that's not going to grate on you, because all of us are human. All of us are fallible. We all have our own things. And if you're hiring somebody who on paper looks good, but you just know through the conversations with them, their mannerisms, the way they describe how they work, that if that's not going to jive with you, regardless of the skill set they bring, it's probably good to just keep on looking. The second thing is you want to encourage people to speak up because you are one person and you might know how this part of the business works. And that might be the most integral part to the business, but there are other arms and legs of it that this person, because they're new or because they have a skill set that allows them to think differently than you, should always feel comfortable saying what they think is best. Not going to listen to it all the time. Might not be something that you even care about, but you want them to at least believe that they have the opportunity to say that and that at some point in time it could come to fruition. And lastly, to make mistakes.
Right.
And realize that, listen, you don't get to make mistakes forever. If the majority of your job is filled with mistakes, that's probably the easiest way out the door. But all of us learn by making mistakes. Mistakes are inherent to all of us. And it's insane to think that we have this threshold of perfection when it comes to work, when all it is human beings working with human beings, and there's going to be a ton of pitfalls along the way. But as long as it's not because you were slacking on a job, or because you were lazy or over your head or anything along those lines, but you were just doing what you thought was right and it just didn't play out that way, and you were willing to atone for it and learn and never make the mistake again, that's pretty much all you can ask for.
Whenever business owners call me, and if mistakes are an issue, meaning a lot of times it'll be with somebody new or somebody newly promoted.
Yep.
And they never say, he or she makes mistakes, and that's a problem. What they say is, she makes the same mistake. Yep. And so what did I used to always tell you when you were growing up?
Let's make new mistakes.
Let's make new mistakes. So, because then we believe that you're capable and competent in this arena. You conquered that. Now we need to conquer the next thing. And little mistakes along the way are fine if ultimately we're conquering it. But you said something interesting about the hiring. I got a phone call this weekend from a client, and she had in person interviewed some people that I had suggested. And she said, one of the voices, I don't think I can work with her because of her voice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
and she
hilarious.
said, number one, she's on the phone a lot, right? So she was just kind of worrying for all the clients a little bit. And she said her voice, she goes, she was really nice, but her voice just grated on me. I said, then don't hire her. Right?
Could you, there are things in this world that I cannot in any form or fashion get over. One is smell. If you smell, if your clothes smell, if your breath smells, I can't do it. I cannot do it. And I think everybody would agree. There's not many noises for the most part that people are just like, I can't do it. But there are particular voices, or there's particular laughter, or there's cadences in how people speak where you're like, no chance. Especially if you have the authority to decide whether or not you have that person in your life, no chance.
Exactly. So, and then another person that she really felt pretty good about, but wasn't quite there. She was just like, I don't know, most of me really liked him, kind of went through it. And this is one thing that people don't do enough. I said, have him come in and shadow and work with you for a day. Feel him in your place, right? See if he rolls his sleeves up and kind of helps out. See what kind of questions he asks. See if he gets his hands in a little bit.
Love it.
And that is the perfect thing to do, because you also want to build trust with them.
I agree 1,000%. Open communication, be free to express your opinions, and be free to make mistakes.
Yep. Those are all the things we should be doing as leaders.
And be a good person. Dear Debbie, 3 questions, 2 business, 1 kind of fun. Let's get going.
Okay.
Dear Debbie, my husband and I have a great relationship. We work in the same school system. He's an administrator, I'm a counselor. We sometimes go to joint meetings, but when we do, he always acts awkward, like he doesn't even know me. I understand we have to behave professionally, but not as if we don't know each other. Recently, we were leaving a meeting and no one was around. I was going to give him a little peck on the lips to say goodbye, and he turned away as if he wanted nothing to do with me. What is the proper etiquette when spouses work together? That's a good question.
That is a really good question, and I can answer it because guess what? I married my boss.
You did.
So I think that anybody that knows Dad and I during that time would have said they had no idea we were dating, none.
Sure.
0. And in fact, Dad's assistant, who was probably one of the closest people protectors of him, would have said to them, there's nothing going on. They are not dating, right? And she believed that because that's what she thought as well, right? So if you want to hide something like that until you at least see if it's serious, it is hideable. I don't think that Dad and I mean, a social event would have been entirely different if we were invited to something that was personal and social, but from somebody at work. But we went to a lot of conferences together. I mean, they gave us separate rooms. I mean, you know, truth be told, we slept in one, we bring a babysitter and you slept in the other. Do you know what I mean? After we were married, right?
Just tisk.
But I mean, I think we both go about our own business. And I don't think I would have kissed Dad at a conference or anything like that.
But fast forward to working with your husband at Emerald City. Where does the difference happen?
Well, the difference is I'm in charge there. I'm the owner. I get to do what I want. But I don't think I mean, you can remember sometimes Dad and I were mad at each other at Emerald City.
Oh yeah.
And I felt like
sometimes.
and I felt like our staff were the kids.
Yeah.
Like wherever he and I were, they were going to stay out of there.
Oh yeah.
You know? But I don't think, I think we were nice to each other, but I don't know. And, you know, he might have given me a little hug or a little pat or something or kissed me on the cheek. But I don't think regularly there was a lot of affection. People knew we were married, right?
So now combine the two. If you were married and Dad was your boss, I'm assuming as an administrator, he kind of has authority over a counselor?
I mean, I don't know about that. So here's where I would think it is. I think she's being a little sensitive and I think he's being a little weird. Okay.
Okay.
So I think we made jokes about our family arrives everywhere in 3 cars.
Oh yeah.
Because we're coming from, all different directions. But I mean, you get there, his job is different than her job. Nobody there wants to be reminded of their intimate relationship
1,000%.
just in case it crosses.
Agreed.
Nobody wants that. So it's okay that they arrive together, kind of sit in separate places. I mean, she finds her community, he finds his. I don't really like the kissing and leaving. Because I don't like
this
that.
Is what my question to her would be. Why? Why do you feel the need to kiss him in a setting that's unadulterated professional?
Right.
Why do you feel the need to do that? You live with the man. You've started a family with the man. I'm assuming you have kids.
I'm assuming she arrived with the man.
Any other hour of the day, you can express affection. Mm-hmm. Why do you need to do it right then, right there?
Yeah, it feels weird.
That feels weird. And I'm on the guy's side. I'm not a big PDA guy, but I'm on the guy's side of, let's just shore this up for the 1 hour that we're around colleagues, because I could make the argument only bad things would come from that.
Yeah.
Only bad things. One person who doesn't like the cut of your jib sees you kiss your administrator husband and he says, this is inappropriate for the workplace. This is inappropriate for me. I don't want to see this. And then they have cause for something.
Well, they'll think she'll always be protected.
Exactly.
Or they think they can't be candid with him now if they have a problem with her.
Yep.
I mean, it's messy. Don't do it.
I agree. No kissing.
No kissing.
This is a long one, but I think it's a good one. Dear Debbie, I'm a woman in my 50s with decades of professional experience working for high-profile individuals. I'm more international than many diplomats, as well as trendy and attractive. And apparently, I can pass for 5 to 10 years younger.
Well, good for her.
Nevertheless, I'm overwhelmed with how ageism and sexism are affecting me. It's become apparent that my expertise is no longer needed in a workplace as I can't even get interviews, so I became a tech entrepreneur. I've never been so happy and I'm thriving more than ever, but it's early days and I'm still broke. I try to be patient until people, quote unquote, get me. However, I'm delirious with rage at the number of ultra arrogant men between 20 and 35 who try to dominate me at work. Younger women do too, but catch on faster, and I can handle the older men. But the young men with 3 to 10 years of experience under their belts, often composed entirely of fluff, who are mind-bogglingly condescending, I have quite literally no time to sit around and listen to their bragging and bravado. I told one who I know pretty well, "You are mansplaining and it's annoying." He cried and we couldn't work together anymore. I want to nip this in the bud as early as possible so we can get down to business. Got anything for me?
I would say that the tech industry is hard. That is tough.
Big time hard.
It's hard because people are smart in a really niche-y way.
Yep.
And they know that they're smart in a niche way.
Yep.
And they know that they're not smart in these other ways that they don't even care about.
And
right?
they know that it's mostly dudes.
And they know that it's mostly
and it's
guys.
mostly socially awkward
Yeah.
dudes.
And so, it was like when the tech thing first started, like, I don't know, 25, 30 years ago, whatever it was now. And all of these awkward, brilliant guys, they said, we don't need marketing. I mean, we'll just do we'll just make the cool thing and it'll just sell itself. Well, guess what happened? It had to be marketed.
Because it's a business.
Because it's a business, right. So, I mean, they're thinking about their own little, which we need them to do that because they're brilliant.
Yep.
So, what she has to be able to find is what she can give to them that they don't have.
Like from a professional standpoint?
Well, I mean, she said, is she a consultant entrepreneur kind of thing?
I don't know.
I mean, so one of the things, like most of the people I work with, either don't have confidence in an area
Yep.
and they're looking for somebody to help them,
Yep.
or it's an area that they want to grow their business and they might be just nervous and they want kind of like a partner to help them, right?
For sure.
Or it's an area that they hate, they've acknowledged that, or an area that they're not confident in, right?
Yep.
So I can go in there. I'm not threatening what they do. Like when I work with a doctor, I don't act like I'm a surgeon. I'm not a surgeon. I don't know what that looks like. I can't speak medical with him, right? But I'm a business person, and I have actually said this. I mean, when I've had, in fact, a couple of like MD doctors be a little bit snippy with me, and I know this and I know that, and I said, what, because you read Forbes yesterday? I mean, like, I wouldn't go offer to do surgery on somebody just because I've Googled a ton of things,
Fair.
right?
I mean, I would, but
Well,
I'd
there
make
you
them
go.
sign the liability waiver first.
But I think that's one of the things is you don't want to get into that conflict of I'm smarter than you in this, but you have to find the place that they need you. You also, there's some stuff, if you really want to help people, you have to let some stuff fly off your back and be adaptable.
I was going to say, I'm not at all standing up for the toxicity of a male-dominated workplace. And I have worked with, guys who are 27 and younger, and it's different for me, right? Being a guy. But the culture is fast-paced, and there's a lot of inappropriate comments and a lot of inappropriate jokes, and it can be a spotlight on the inadequacies of like gender roles within the workplace, right? If that's the culture, which again, I am not saying that should just be the case, right? How can you properly navigate it if you're like one of a handful of voices that seem to only find the issue with it?
Right. Well, I think that, if you go in fact, you and I had a situation once where I'm working in a larger company and I said to you, and I work with the CEO a lot, but sometimes I work with some of the younger people and there's a real age difference. And I had been talking with them and I felt like I think I had a beautiful relationship with all of them, but I wasn't quite getting to where I wanted to go. And I said to you, hey, come on with me. And you came and she was not there that day. And we sat around. You did not say much different. I mean, this is like the reverse. You did not say much different than I've said to them.
Yep.
But they all looked at you. They identified with you. You were the same as them. It was, and they just like, all of a sudden, all the stuff that was bothering them.
They got it.
They got it and it went away. So there are things like that. I mean, she can't be everything to everybody.
Right.
I mean, and if her niche is older men and women, then that's a big enough niche.
Totally.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you acknowledge that those dudes are idiots, as we all agree. Anybody between the age of like 20 and 25 is an idiot. We love you all, but you're all dumb.
Yeah.
But we love you all.
And if I use the word mansplaining with somebody, which I don't know if I would use in business, but I've probably said worse than that. But if I used that word and he cried, oh my God, I'd have to slap him upside the head.
Deb, let me tell you what mansplaining is really quick, okay?
I know what it is.
I'm just kidding.
Okay.
That's the joke. Number 3, Dear Debbie, I met, we'll call her Sarah, while at college. We lost touch for a few years, but then reconnected at a gallery in a part of town I usually don't frequent. We seemed to hit it off, and I started meeting up more and more with her. While I can't claim we're best friends, I thought we were developing or redeveloping a lovely friendship. Last week, Sarah posted a shot of me dancing with my boyfriend at a wedding we attended. I'd sent it to her because she asked to see a picture of my dress. The entire post was dedicated to speculating on how such a cow could snag such a hot boyfriend. When I confronted her about it, she laughed it off, saying it was just her idea of an ironic little joke, that plainly she wouldn't say anything to intentionally hurt my feelings, and so on. I'm not one to hold a grudge or to be overly sensitive, but this feels like anything but a joke to me. Am I wrong, or is Sarah wrong?
Sarah's wrong.
Totally.
Done. Period. Nothing more to say.
That's just so weird to me.
That is, first of all, don't we? I mean, we say always something like that, like look and read before you hit post or whatever.
Sure.
You don't get to post somebody else's picture.
I don't know that you ever accidentally tagged somebody as a cow in a post, and you're just like, oh, I'm sorry, I meant beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The other part of it is, I mean, they've just renewed their friendship, so it is still fragile. I mean, it's not like this solid foundation of, 20 years of a great friendship. Yeah. If somebody did that to me, they would go to the outer circle very, very fast, and I would set up some really strong boundaries.
How would you confront it? Phone call or in person or text?
That'd probably be a phone call.
And you would say what?
Do we know the other girl's name?
Let's call her Angelica.
Angelica. This is Sarah the cow.
No. I'm Sarah. You're Angelica. I asked a photo of your dress. You sent it to me.
Okay, Sarah.
Hello. It's me, Sarah.
This is Angelica.
Oh, hey, Angelica. How are you, love?
I'm good. I mean, it's kind of tough being Angelica the cow.
Oh, darling, it was just a bit of a goof.
A goof? What is a goof? Describe a goof.
I was just having fun with it. Your boyfriend's such a good-looking man, and of course you're beautiful, so I just wanted to put a little razz on it.
Okay, so here's the thing, Sarah.
Yes?
We've only just begun to rekindle our friendship. This was not funny. You did it without my permission. I'd like to have you take it down, and I'd like to have you apologize so that we can move forward. I want a trusting, honest relationship with you.
That makes sense to me.
That's it. That's just what I would do.
And then if she says no,
then I hate her. Because here's the thing.
Her.
I mean, she's dead to me then.
Clearly.
Come on. Yeah.
She's more dead than ground beef.
Because here's the thing. We know that Angelica is at least a little bit overweight, right? I mean, or something. There's something
societally, which doesn't mean there's anything wrong with Angelica.
Right.
There's something societally easy to point out about her.
Right.
And Sarah took the low-hanging fruit.
And did the mean thing.
And did the mean thing, which is a psycho move, by the way.
I mean,
this isn't even a question. If anybody who I was like quasi-friends with asked to see my outfit for the day, and then they took a photo of me and somebody else and posted it on their account, I don't care what platform it's on, and then made a derogatory remark about me, I'd be like, dude, next time I see you, it's like on site, because you're an awful human being.
Well, honestly, I don't even like, even if something nice was said, I mean, I don't like the idea of somebody posting a picture of me without asking about it.
That's psycho level stuff.
Yeah,
like I can't.
That's weird.
I think it's weird when people just post photos of family members without them in it.
Yes.
Like it's like if you were there to take the photo, like be in the photo because I don't care if it's your kids or it's your significant other or a family member. Like be with them. I think that's weird. So the fact that like there's no relation and they're quasi friends and she just asked for a photo and felt the need to put the photo of you and your boyfriend on her account to make fun of it, bro.
So weird.
No chance.
We don't like her. We don't like her at all.
I feel somewhat more comfortable sitting in here.
I think we're just acclimated.
Yeah.
I mean, which is so sad. Right?
Like my internal temperature is raised a couple 100 degrees to match what's in this room. Deborah.
Yeah.
Food or thankful? You pick.
I'll go food.
Do it. What's for dinner this evening?
Well, we do, I want to say, and we'll put it up against Denny.
Okay.
We do a good risotto.
Oh, risotto.
So we're going to do a grilled shrimp and basil risotto with a little Thai chili pepper.
Are you worried about cooking in the heat?
No, because, and I know nobody believes this, the best risotto in the world is made in an Instant Pot.
Interesting. Because let me give you the temperatures for the rest of the week.
Okay.
103 on Monday, 101 on Tuesday, and 98 and kind of somewhat cascading down the rest of the week.
I'll make the risotto early or
Got
something.
it.
I mean, it'll be fine.
I think we should also this should be a Deb and Kev promise to ourselves. We will never record like after 12 during the summer.
Oh, no, we've got it. It's got to be morning now.
It has to be
I'm
morning.
like extra twitchy because I'm sweating everywhere.
You know when your body just like itches, but you don't want to itch it, so then it kind of gets cold and then it like achy.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I am at right now.
Oh, I'm like just everything.
There's not enough of my body to scratch all at once to make me feel good.
I'm with you.
Risotto with grilled scrimps. Love
what?
the scrimps. Perfect. Deb, besides this podcast ending shortly, what are you thankful for this week?
Oh my gosh. Should you do your thankful first?
I mean, I could, but I'd like to hear yours.
I want you to do yours first.
I mean,
Please.
that's fair, but like, listen. Beauty before age, Deb. You go first.
Okay, I'm just going to genuinely and generally say this.
Everybody pay attention. She's going to make it up on the fly.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I have...
By the way, I'm just saying this. We're recording it late in the afternoon. The sun is coming through the window. We are gorgeous in this lighting.
Oh, are we?
Stunning.
Nice.
Absolutely stunning. Compared to how we started this an hour ago, where we looked gross and sweaty, and you told me to, clean my upper lip because of all the face sweat that I was going with. Mm-hmm. We are just like radiating beauty right now.
Oh, I love that.
Thank you.
I recently, and I'm not going to go into the description of the whole thing, but I was recently at an event and there were a lot of women at it. And I just want to say, it just felt like every single person I connected with, I liked. And it was such a diverse group of personalities. Like, you could see how it could go wrong on so many levels.
Oh, yeah.
And yet nothing went wrong. I mean, it was just lovely. It felt like kindred spirits, like sisters that you lost a long time ago and found. I mean, I'm so grateful that I got to be at that event.
Do you know what I'm thankful for?
What?
It's my birthday week.
It is your birthday week.
I don't care about birthdays. Lord knows I don't expect anybody to do anything for them besides a surprise. If anybody wants to do a surprise for me, like, yo.
Surprises are his thing.
Hit me with it. But more so, last year was the first time kind of during the pandemic that we had people over, and it was odd to say the least. It was just weird. It was just weird having people over, right?
We had a great shrimp boil.
I put some spicy seasoning in it, which was a lot.
Almost killed us.
Almost killed a lot of people. But it was fantastic. And I will be going over to the Bay Area with a handful of friends to travel, because that's pretty much all I want to be able to do right now. And it'll be a very good time. And I'm just happy to be alive. I'm happy to be turning 37, which 3 and 7 is 10. That's a power number.
Master number.
It's gonna be
a good year for you.
Give us a quick explanation on a master number.
Well, I don't know all the details. And for people that are into numerology, they will really know. But like, Google it, 10 master number right now while I'm talking.
10 master number. Hold on. Let me find out what it means, because I can hear the frog in your voice and I don't want to edit this. And instead of giving the bad answer, I want to get the right answer. And 10, master number, a divine number. 10 means a return to unity, the fusion of being and non-being. The number 10 denotes the completion of a cycle, making 10 very skilled at whatever they choose to do, but they do so on their own terms. The number 10 reduces to the number 1, so independence is of obvious importance for the number 10. What does any of that mean, you're asking? I have no idea, but doesn't it sound profound?
It sounds like a good year for you, and 10 was your number.
That's true. It was my number in sports.
Yep.
So I'm excited for that because it's a birthday. It's a reason to hang out with friends and a reason to do dumb stuff.
And I have no surprise for Kevin. So if he loves a surprise. So if anybody can think of one or provide one, I would really appreciate it.
Yep. It's going to be 2 years in a row with no surprises for sad old Kev.
Yep. And it's too hot to cook outside this year.
Truth. Yeah. Oh my God. If we were having an outdoor event, it would have been canceled weeks ago. But that will do it for the Deb and Kev podcast. We apologize for it being short.
Was thankful your birthday?
Yeah, it's my birthday week.
Okay, all right.
What did you think it was? For dinner?
I don't know. I kind of got lost there for a minute.
Did you think I was thankful for my birthday dinner?
No, it felt like it was a general announcement.
I mean, yeah, I'm not an idiot. If anybody wants to send me birthday gifts, you have an entire week to do so. Yeah. But yeah, that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful for another year around that shiny orb out in space.
There you go.
That will do it for this Monday's episode of the Deb and Kev podcast. Again, we apologize for it being short, but we are going to pass out here any second if left in this room with that closed door. Remember to like, rate, and review wherever you listen to this podcast. And because it's my birthday, send it to somebody. Say, you should listen to this. This guy's turning 37. He could die at any point between the fire and the weather and his old age. Give him a like now. And if you're not doing so, please follow us on all of our social channels at Deb and Kev Pod. And if you want to watch this episode, you can watch it at our YouTube channel, which is at Deb and Kev Pod, and you can see us sweating and twitching, and you can see how beautiful we look towards the end of the podcast. It's just a way to support us as we try to make meaningful content for y'all. Mom, I love you to death.
I love you, baby.
We'll see you guys on Thursday. It'll be recorded in the morning.
Thank you for listening to the Deb and Kev podcast. Remember to like and subscribe wherever you listen to this podcast. Follow Deb and Kev on Facebook and on Instagram and Twitter at Deb and Kev Pod.